Alrighty, so to start, you're going to need to print off the paper patterns for the Flix Street Devil design. And yes, I know Street Devil, it's obviously the one character from the show, but copyright's a thing, so Street Devil. You're also going to need 3mm, 1mm craft foam. You could replace 3mm with 5mm, however, I find 3mm is lighter and thus a better, more comfortable fit. You're also going to need a Sharpie, scissors, a craft knife, and painter's tape. You're going to begin by cutting out the paper pattern pieces. You're also going to need to cut out the triangle mark on piece A here. Next, making sure that the two X marks are now facing each other, tape together the B1 and B2 pieces into one single B piece, like so. Next, draw out all of the paper patterns onto the correct thickness of foam. You're also going to want to label each piece and add any of the triangle marks or cutting marks, those are the dots and lines on pieces C, D, E, and F, onto the respective foam pieces. Once you've drawn out all of the paper patterns onto the foam, you can start cutting them all out. Edges with line markers indicate that you need to cut away from the shape at about 45 degrees. This creates an extended face. Edges with dotted guides indicate that you need to cut into the shape at about 45 degrees. This creates an inverted face. All right, we're going to begin construction by combining the two B pieces along this edge here so that they're curving away from each other. Apply glue to these edges. Once the glue is set, starting at whatever end you'd like, begin combining the two B pieces like so. Just for future reference, the front of the B piece is going to be the one with the point, not the curve. They will start to curve in or away from you. You don't need to fight this. This is the effect that we're looking for. If one side seams looks better than the other as you build, you can actually flip the curve orientation by pressing down and popping the curve the other way. That way the more flat seams are facing out. Now we're going to attach the A piece to the side of the B piece. Orient them so that the point of each piece are facing the same direction. Apply glue to the outside edge of piece B and along this entire edge of piece A, again making sure that they're oriented correctly. Once the glue is set, starting at the front of piece A and B, begin attaching the two pieces. Repeat these steps for the other A piece on the other side of the B piece if you haven't done so already. All right, now we're going to work on the face mask by attaching the two C pieces to the rest of the mask. Apply glue to the inside face of piece A all the way inside until the point on piece B here. Again, this is on the inside of the helmet. You're also going to apply glue to the entire outer edge of piece C, here. Once the glue is set, begin pressing the outer edge of piece C into the inside of the A and B pieces like so. Make sure, and again, try your best, but make sure you try to match the edge of pieces A and B with the now outward face of the C piece. Repeat this process for the other C piece on the other side of the helmet. The two C pieces should meet inside the helmet at the point on piece B. Alright, next we're going to make the nose guard by applying glue to both inward cut edges of the D pieces. Once the glue is set, press the two inward cut edges together. Next, apply glue to these outer edges on the nose piece here and here. You're also going to apply glue to these outward cut edges of the C piece here and here. Once the glue is set, lining up the bottom of the D piece like so with the bottom of the C piece, starting on one side, combine the D piece to the outward cut edges. You're going to do the same thing by attaching the nose piece to the other C piece. Next, apply glue to the top edges of the nose guard here, as well as on the outer face at the top of the loops of each C piece by the point of B. Once the glue is set, press the top edges of piece D onto the top of the C pieces like so. Now, if your foam came in a roll like mine, your foam and your mask might be a bit warped inward like mine is. You can fix this a few ways. I recommend using a heat gun or a blow dryer, something you could warm up the foam with. If you're able to put it onto a foam head, that also helps, or you can massage it into place. But also, as you can see here, when you wear it, the foam does relax and fit the head quite nicely. Going forward, it will be easier if you could put the helmet on a foam head or stand, but it isn't an issue if you don't have this available. We're now going to work on the horns. Apply glue to the two straight inward cut edges of two opposite facing E pieces like so. The opposite meaning the two smaller inward cut edges should face each other. You're also going to apply glue to the two inward cut edges of one of the F pieces. Once the glue is set, press the two shorter edges of the E pieces onto the two inward cut edges of the F piece. Then press the two edges of each E piece together. You'll most likely need to pinch the top of the horn like so to combine the edges there. Alright, now, if you haven't already, make the second horn. To attach the horns, I added the marks on the A pieces as a guide to assist you. Using these guides, draw out where you want the horns to go. For reference, the F piece of the horns should face the front of the mask. Draw out where you want the horns to go, then apply glue to these outlined areas as well as the remaining bottom edges of the horns that we haven't glued yet. Once the glue is set, press the horns down onto the outlined area. Alright, you can stop now if you'd like and customize the rest of the Street Devil cowl however you like, but I have also provided some additional armor. I'm going to show you where I've designed each of the G pieces to go, and I'll glue them down, but you can work at your own pace. Place G1 on the side of the helmet on piece A, so that there's a centimeter or so of distance between the seam of the A and B pieces. G2 should match the front point of the B piece like so. Again, you are going to want a gap, however this time it's going to be a 2 to 3 centimeter gap. Then, matching the top of G2 to the front of one G3 piece like a puzzle, you're going to place G3 behind G2. You're going to repeat these steps for the remaining G3 pieces across the top of the head, using the center seam of the B piece as a guide. Again, you do want a little bit of space between each of the pieces. Once you're ready, apply glue to all of the outlined areas and on an entire face of each of the G pieces. Once the glue is set, attach the G pieces to the helmet. And with that, you're done. The Flix design is meant to look like the character's helmet from the streaming service that will not be named, and so no chin strap is needed. It should just sit on your head nicely. However, if you want to attach it to some sort of balaclava, you're more than welcome to figure that out. Alright, and that's it for me. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial, and I hope the template helps you in your cosplay adventures. Please like and subscribe, and if you are so inclined, take a look at the description below to find more ways that you can help and support me and my craft.